like a shithole, honestly. And it takes weeks for us to find the stuff. Where's the 11mm spanner? Alan! I'm on the phone.
We're always doing 7 things at once. That's right.
I know that, mate, but at the same time, some decorum. Even he's relatively tidy, mainly because he just polishes, but you know.
You know that he must be tidy from the unkempt appearance that he has right now. You know, that means a tidy man.
Do you know what? I've got to tell you, the other day, I went to ITV, all right, and I said, here are your promos for the new series of the Motorbike Show. And Sat went, oh great, thanks very much. Anyway, next day he rings me up and he goes, what are you doing? I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you put a tweed jacket on. I went, well, I just thought I'd smarten us up, you know, make it sort of 21st century, kind of hip, you know what I mean? He goes, get back in the bloody shed, right? Put a boiler suit on and do them again, all right? Because dishevelled is what we are, and dishevelled is what we like.
And dishevelled is obviously what the television company prefers.
Well, I think so, you know, we've kind of made that. I mean, Discovery, you know, they love a shed and buried, but they perceive us slightly differently to the rest of them, that we are sort of, you know, in a shed looking a bit dirty because we are. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what motorbikes mean to the general public, you know, to the greater general public. That is what motorbikes mean.
Well, I think don't tell them anything else.
Right, fair enough.
Because, I mean, we're all here, a load of kindred spirits, we love our two wheels, we love our motorcycles. You know, we can't let too many people in, can we?
But you are, in fact, as you probably well know, an Eton-educated man. Now, this is a rarity. This is...
I'll get my coat. Right, I'm off now.
This is a rarity in the motorcycling scene of the United Kingdom. You have to say.
Now, look, I'll tell you what, I do know some bikers who are... Well, I was going to say twats, but who are old Etonians.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I'm not so much old as X. If you see what I mean.
Okay.
I didn't quite make the turn, if you see what I mean, the full amount. Okay.
But you did experience Messrs. Cameron and Johnson.
Oh yeah, no, Boris was in my year, actually. Yeah, and we used to call him the frozen chicken. Because he did look like one, yeah. But the thing is, I didn't really get to know him, mainly because he was in the top class.
Yeah.
And guess where I was? I was bottom feeding, I think they call it out. Do you know what I mean? So I never really got to know him apart from, well, there's the frozen chicken. Do you know what I mean? And my mate Charlie, I was in a punk band, right? And I was the drummer, but Charlie was up front. He used to sort of, it was punk, you know, in the days that you'd gob on people and that kind of thing. And it just happened to be gobbing on David Cameron at a gig. Do you know what I mean? Well, there you go. So that's one of my closest run-in with contemporaries.
With men who would become leaders of the country.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they turned out shockingly, didn't they? But some turned out all right.
Yeah. And this is also when you met Gid Stroke Skid back in those days.
I've got to tell you, when I was about 15, he's a bit older than me, and still is, luckily. And I'd go back to Eton. People would go back in the Range Rovers, the Rolls Royces. I'd come back with a CB 500, 550 K3. That's why I came back, because he'd dropped me off, didn't you?
I was up at school sort of like 15, 20 miles away, and I got my motorcycle test 3 days after my 17th birthday, and so I used to go and collect him on the Honda, and he'd be leaning out the window and he'd sneak off, get on the bike, and we'd go down to Winchester, which is where our debauchery started really, and we derailed with motorbikes.
The debauchery started in Winchester. Deplorable behaviour all round.
Yes.
But I'm determined, I don't know about everyone here, but I'm determined to grow old disgracefully. Yeah? Because otherwise, we're forgotten, us lot, I think, by modern society, aren't we, Jack?
Yes, I agree.
I mean, you get a bit of grey on you, do you know what I mean? I mean,
and highlights.
There's no point in even saying I don't highlight my hair, because he will go on about it.
Well, he's not got just a hint of grey, just a hint. Yeah, there it is.
It's more than a hint.
Did you notice the hair didn't come off with the hat?
Yeah, it is entirely your own.
Honestly, it's real. Look, there you are.
And you somehow managed to. How did you manage to translate yourself from Eton? Actually, I wanted to know how you even got sent to Eton in the first place. But how did you translate yourself from Eton to an ITN news cameraman?
Oh, that was quite easy. When I left Eton, I became a professional drug addict.
Right.
Okay? My
Yeah.
father wanted me to go into the army, you know, and then do 3 years short service commission, and then go into the city. And it all went slightly wrong, right?
Because you wouldn't get a job.
Because no, exactly. I became a session drummer, but I didn't do much drumming, right?
Right.
And I lived up in London with Skid, and took a huge amount of heroin. And,
Yes.
and so consequently, I always wanted to get into TV, and my mum went into this TV production company and said, my son will work for nothing. I went, what the frick are you said that? What? Anyway, I had to go down and work for this geezer for nothing. But they did news camera crews, and I always wanted. I saw, when I was out of my head one day in a posh flat down New Chelsea, which you get when you've been to Eton, you have a mate who's got a posh flat and a lot of drugs, because he was rich. So you go round and befriend him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, he had a book which had shots of this guy in Vietnam with a camera on his shoulder. I said, I want to be him. Anyway, so basically, my mum went in. My first job was the Brixton Riots.
Really?
Yeah, I was a sound
I
man.
remember them.
Yeah, well, a sound man. I carried a machine.
So if you'd not been if you'd not been kind of out of it, then you'd probably have been fairly scared.
Well, no, because what was great is I was out of my head, and I'd stand there in a riot or something with a camera. Everyone else had sort of not taken cover because they were hardcore professionals, but they weren't being a twat like me, right? So I'd send the footage back because I was out of my head, and then ring up and go, cool, that's great, got any more? So I carried on, do you know what I mean? Being an idiot.
Yeah, and survived it. What's more?
Well, physically, yeah, I don't know about emotionally, but and then I met Alan.
And that's a more sensible. Well, I don't know whether you would call
sensible him. Can I just alert you to the fact, Jack, that I think it was last year or the year before, you had a stand named The Madness of Millyard. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, well,
really?
They did here, and that really sums it up. This man is not normal. He's made of swarf.
Do you know, can I just tell you that the thing that brought that home to me more than anything, because I'm an ex-art college boy, this really, really impressed me. The artistry of the man, when I had a look at some of those YouTube videos. And the one that grabbed me, besides the KDX 200 that I want to talk about at some point. And we will, me and Alan will be touching on dirt. I'm sorry, that's his heart. But did you see him beating out that aluminium fairing for the Honda 6? And he just
attempt as well.
Sorry,
My first attempt I've never done it before.
your first ever attempt. And what really struck me was that, you know, he kind of just about finished his first attempt at it, and he just quietly let you know that had taken half an hour. I thought, this man's got infinite patience. How on earth does he go on for half an hour tapping away at this piece of aluminium?
Yeah, he can bore you if you're watching.
Oh, but he didn't. You see, he did, and also
just got the vision and see it finished, and just keep going until you get there.
yeah, which I think a lot of us would struggle with, wouldn't we? Just to keep on tapping away. Well, I would.
I had a model maker's guidebook to follow, so it was all right.
And also, the artistry bit was, did you see the freehand Sharpie? I mean, that is pretty impressive.
That is
Just be able
amazing.
to make marks on there and
does
cut that and have it work and fit. I was thinking, you can't possibly be sure that's going to be accurate, but it was.
It's always spot on. Hand-eye coordination. We taught that when we were an apprentice.
Oh, okay, because you were into your metalworking for a long time at the MOD as well, weren't you?
Yeah, that's right. So he taught hand-eye coordination. Look once, cut once, look twice.
Right, okay.
That has been my problem.
You look twice.
I haven't really followed that. Yeah, I've looked about 300 times and cut wrongly.
Yeah, I was...
Can I just say, Jack, just to give you an example of what Alan's like, I try and stitch him up. So he turns up, I go, Alan, I've got a terrible issue with that vehicle over there. He goes, what vehicle's that? You couldn't do the brakes on that fire engine, could you? And I mean, you know, getting a legend like him to do that, it makes me laugh when he goes underneath and starts fiddling. All I do know is my ignition went on my Harley the other day, my little switch. So I ordered another one. Well, I ordered one because Alan told me which one to get. I thought, bugger it, I'll fit it on a Sunday. Started at 11 in the morning. About 4-ish, I gave up. Right, seriously, Okay, I thought, oh, well, I've done well, I've wired it up, but I can't put it in the hole. Do you know what I mean? Can't get it round the back. He turns up on a Monday morning. I promise you, I went to make him a cup of tea, which is unheard of. Yeah, done. In the time it took me to swing a bag, he's done it. Unbelievable.
That was a really easy job.
That's true, man. Isn't it? It was an easy job, but not for me.
That's exactly how I feel being an impractical man. Yeah, you get
right.
someone in who knows what they're doing.
Well, absolutely. You know, a stupid man employs an artisan. Yeah.
Yeah. And this artisan is capable of producing things like this.
And then I have to sit on the back of it.
I know, which you did. Do you know the most impressive thing about that? And this is another thing about, besides the actual build of it.
Yeah.
But do you remember after they'd finally accomplished the 183 miles an hour, that this fella just calmly mentioned, "Oh yeah, I had a bit of a speed wobble, but I just drove on through it." And I'm thinking, blimey, that is brave.
We spoke to Becky Ellis, who's done 267 on a hire Ibiza, fastest woman in the world.
Yeah.
And she said basically just drive through it. So I said to him, "What do you reckon?" He said, "Yeah, just carry on, just drive through it." So we did it. Came in about 160 and went at 175.
Well, see what I mean? There's an element of courage there, isn't there, as well as what it takes
it's
to go
not. Can
through
I just say on my part, it's not courage, it's like bollocks, I'll have a go. It'll be a laugh. And
Okay.
I go along this adage when I do land speed stuff with Alan or on me told or whatever, is that, do you know what, if I do croak, yeah, well, there you go, really. And you know, my kids can go, "Oh, how'd your dad die?" Well, he was a stupid idiot and he was trying to get 182 miles an hour out of a whatever sitting on the back. Rather than, what happened to your father? Oh, he got crashed on the North Circular. Do you know what I mean? I think if I've got those opportunities to do those kind of things,
Yes,
it
yes.
would be churlish not to just go, bollocks, let's do it, man, go for it. And Alan, he doesn't look it, does he? But he's
No.
a dangerous man. Honestly, when he gets he gets it in his eyes, yeah, the visor comes down. Mikey Dunlop said to me once, he goes, I'm an arsehole or something when I put my helmet on, and when I put the visor down, I'm a fucking nightmare.
Of course, Skid came on the back as well to Western, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he's not so much of a nightmare, yeah, oh yeah.
Even though if you looked at the two of them, you would think that Skid was the nightmare between the two of them, wouldn't you? Really,
you would.
given the
he
visual
has
choice.
been, especially when he's out of his head. But he has been, yeah.
Yeah.
I've calmed down in my old age. I used to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I would say from 18 years old to about 30.
Right.
And then,
Oh, you're allowed to be a nightmare for your 20s.
well, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're not alive, if you're not, are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think so. I think that's very true. Yeah. Alan, you wouldn't think sometimes, you know, is listening, but it's all, the radar's out. Do you know what I mean? It's like this, yeah. And then suddenly he'll come and he'll build something, and then we'll go off and attempt something like that. Do you know what's amazing about him? Right. I'm sorry. I mean, I've lived with that bike, if you see what I mean, for years at shows and things. Every time I see it, what amazes me about it is, firstly, why would you do that? And secondly, it looks as though it's come out of the factory.
Yeah.
It is mint, you know, isn't it? I mean, you're amazing.
That was my aim. I did lots of research before I built the bike. Most of the car engine bikes in the world, they use small wheels, like on the higher Ibiza, and then end up looking like scooters. And they always fit a gearbox, which makes them so long. So that's got no gears. It's got 500 pounds-foot of torque with 500 horsepower. So it pulls away in top, and it's still out to like a Yamaha R1 from standing start. So
That's the problem. That was the problem with doing a land speed record, was that we had 0 to half a mile to get to 150 to have a chance, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because it's in 6th gear, it was only coming on song when we got the record, right?
Yes.
So next year we're going back, change the sprocket. I'm told this is technical, Henry.
it's currently geared for 225 miles an hour at 5,500.
We'll smash it. Next year we'll do 200.
So does that mean you just need a longer venue to do
It'd
it
be
in?
like me in 3rd gear rather than top gear, so it'd be better.
So we'll do it the same, but we'll just put a different sprocket on so it gets there quicker.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
Will you be able to hang on? Do you have your hands round
Can
it?
I just tell you? Well, yeah, I've been a bit dubious about that in case he snaps. But I do hang on. Hanging on, I don't really hang on actually. I do. I mean, I've got my little hands round him. What is the nightmare? I'll show you. Yeah, look.
That's on a long lead.
What's the nightmare is like you're sitting on the back here and you're sitting forward, right? Then he starts to break and your hands have got to come round here and grab that, otherwise you're going to launch yourself off Millyard, yeah, and go into the bushes.
I didn't use the brake once.
Right, okay, I'll get that.
It's just the roll-off. The roll-off engine's got so much engine braking, just rolling off the throttle.
Which means you use the brakes.
Didn't touch I had one finger when we were up down to about 30.
Really?
Yeah, didn't use
I
brakes.
just nearly went up your...
Just rolling off the throttle.
Sorry, Jack.
Do you know, when,
I've got a clue.
I once had the pleasure of being taken around Thruxton race circuit by John Reynolds on a Ritzler Suzuki GSXR 750.
Yeah.
And so we were up to about 160 on that last approach to the final chicane. And well, what the main thing I remember from those two laps is how little it helped me understand what was going on, because
it doesn't help you at all.
Yeah, because your vision, you can hardly make out what's happening because of all the forces that are attacking
I
you.
couldn't see a thing because the helmet had gone right up. I was looking for a little slit with the air on the bottom.
Don't tell me that.
Yes.
Don't tell me that. Tell me that now.
Yeah, it tells you that now.
Actually, I went round Silverstone, I can't remember, Donington, Silverstone, on the back of Ron Haslam.
Yes, Donington it would be.
Holy crap.
Yeah, exactly.
I said, where's the grab rail, Ron? He goes, on the tank. Like, what? And honestly, I was smashing him on the helmet after 3 laps going, stop! Braking, it was the braking.
Yes, I was supposed to have my hands round him and on the tank, and then when he hit the brakes to go into that final chicane, they just shot forward and I crashed into the back of him, and it was
very embarrassing as a pillion.
It is, yes, it is. You felt thoroughly incompetent.
I'm supposedly going on the back of Hickey round the TT.
Wow, now that'll be an experience.
So that's laughing over there. Okay, behave yourselves. No, I think it'll be all right. I mean, Hickey's not going to.
But Hickman is a gentleman. Hickman's a gentleman.
He's a
He'll look
lovely
after
lad.
you.
He will.
Yes.
McGuinness did offer, but I said no.
Very wise.
Yeah, great. But, so that's next year, and then we're going to do. I spent my life on the back of a bike. What's that about? Actually, we are doing the Land Speed V8, and I'll be riding that. Yeah. Which that's another story.
Okay.
And we'll do some startups at the National Motorcycle Museum in a couple of weeks. It's coming.
Okay.
It's good.
We look forward to it. Has it happened already, or that's something you're about to do?
No. The only thing that's happened already is I've taken it out for a spin and blew it up. Okay, and it just all pissing out everywhere. And I got 50.
Just overheated. We're following the camera car too close. There's no airflow. It's 30 degrees 72, that was.
Do you reckon that's the case?
It's just boiled over, that's all. Nothing no harm to it done at all.
Oh, okay. I thought I'd blown it up. But obviously not.
So that your genius will revive it quite easily.
Basically, it's been put together quite strange. It's got it's a V8, but it's like 2 separate 4-cylinder bikes. It's got 2 radiators, 2 water pumps, and 2 oil pumps. Really weird. So we need to get my head around that. Maybe make 1 radiator for it, make 1 radiator system.
Right.
There's no expansion tank, no generator for the battery. It's very strange.
It's a Norton 1998 Nemesis. It's called.
That's recoil.
It was built as a Norton branded thing, one of, and James Hewing has given us this challenge that I'll break the world land speed V8 record on it. There'd be no laughing over there. So the bottom line is that what is incredible about the V8 record is it's really, comparatively slow. It's 136, something like that. It's not a lot. The reason being is it was set in 1908 by this crazy dude on a Curtis, right, which is basically a wheelbarrow with a V8 in it. I mean, unbelievable.
So where will you try this?
Oh, we'll do it at Elvington.
Okay.
Yeah.
Elvington's obviously the place to go.
Well,
I'm
Trevor's a
surprised you
legend.
Southerners don't get a nosebleed.
Yeah, no, Straight Liners is just a wonderful organisation. Trevor sorts it all out. So like all the timing's official. So we are officially in the Guinness Book of Records for the pillion run because of Trevor's all his timing and everything.
Okay.
So we go there. You've got to go up and see the wheelie guys.
Okay.
200 miles an hour for 1 kilometre on one wheel. I mean, that is unbelievable, isn't it?
I think Gary Rothwell did 218, didn't he?
Did he?
Unofficial, yeah, 218.
For 1 kilometre on one wheel, 218.
Do you know, apropos of nothing in particular, but Ryan Vickers' dad was the world record holder at one point on wheelies. Bless him, he was a rare old daredevil in his time, or young daredevil. What about there was a Norton that you guys actually got into production and sold 50 of or something at one time, a Commando.
Yes. Do you want to tell the story, Guy? I would if I was you. I'll tell you the end result. We were still owed a lot of money for that, and we will never get it. But it was a good bike.
Was that Stuart Garner's pet project?
That was a Garner era
Couldn't
bike,
possibly
yeah,
put
and I think he just gave us a bike to do because he thought we'll get Norton on telly, and he thought they'll build a bike, we won't want anything to
Hang
do
on,
with
I
it.
bought the bike off him, the original bike.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
But he sold it cheap though, didn't he?
Oh, bloody right he did. In fact, the only thing
Anyway,
he did.
so we built a bike and they thought it's just a publicity thing. He'll get the bike on telly and it'll be thanks but no thanks, lads, we're not interested in it. We took it back to him and he absolutely loved it and said, could they build 50 of them? And that's the 961
So
Street.
did you build 50 of them?
No, Norton built them.
Oh, okay.
We built a prototype
Yeah.
for the TV show. For the TV show, and it was on, weekly, the build of it, and we took it back to them, and he thought it was going to be rubbish, but when we unveiled it, they loved it, and that was the 961 Street.
And it
So
sold
that was
it sold instantly, didn't it?
Well, we were going to do a launch actually of it, and I was going to go up there with Skid and sort of give it the mass evo, and he rang up and he goes, we're not going to launch it anymore. I go, why not?
Because we sold them.
I've sold them all. Anyway,
They sold out in 3 days. The launch was 10 days later, but they sold out. They put a photo of it on their website, and it sold out in 3 days. So they cancelled the launch, which I was
Which is good,
disappointed
actually.
about because it was on my birthday. That
I
launch.
know, it would have been good. But
Would have been good.
We didn't know
Birthday
what was going on behind the scenes.
Do you know, it was kind of a shame really, because Stuart Garner actually lived at Donington Hall, didn't he? Which was a fantastic pile that actually is on the hilltop overlooking Donington Park.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And he actually asked me to go there and commentate on he had a kind of supermoto of invited guests round the hall.
Yeah.
And it was a fantastic event.
Yeah, it's just,
really good.
Norton as a brand has always had difficulties, perhaps, like a lot of British brands, and there was a lot of difficulty there. I don't know what's happened, but all I know is we got nothing for those 50 bikes, if you see what I mean.
The one good thing is the customers did get their bikes. All 50
I think
were
they did
sold,
with
and all
ours,
50 were
yeah.
built.
Oh,
they
good.
did.
I think
they
they
did
did,
get them, so that was a relief.
You must have been pleased with that.
I was pleased with it. I mean, Guy and I, it was Guy's vision as well, very much so, and he created and built it all. Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, the man is rubbish at tuning a car, right? He'd be the first person to admit it. But what he's utterly brilliant at is styling and creating the look of a motorcycle. And I have to say, he didn't have any hand in that at all, right?
I was shocked when I saw that. I thought, my God. I thought he relapsed. I thought he was back on drugs.
That is, I mean, especially the seat. Do you know what I mean?
Who did that then?
I did.
You did?
Well, I didn't do it. Alan and I did it, didn't we? Or was it me and Sammy? You did it.
Yeah, but look at that seat. It's a monstrosity.
Can I tell you? When the seat was, when Jez was doing the seat, right? It was going out under the, thing. We call it sewing machine. Right, and it sort of spat out like that. It just looked like a huge knob on telly.
I'm not saying anything.
And it looks like one now, really. But I might change the colour of the seat. I may have gone a little bit overboard there, but I did it on purpose to what do they start a dialogue? They say now, don't they? Yeah.
Listen, if you had one machine that you take with you to the legendary desert island, which one would it be?
It certainly wouldn't be road. Okay.
I
Alright.
agree with. For me and him, it would be the KDX 200.
Yeah,
we
no.
could manage that.
I've got. I think Mavis actually probably my Norton old Model 18, which is a
Okay.
Bitzer, which has been with me for years and years and years. So
That sounds
I'll
fair
probably
enough.
take that or my Harris Magnum 3, or
Oh, here we go. Look, one.
no, but I mean we all know, don't we? Motor Martin perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all know. Look, we've all got. You can't. Look, if you want a 70s superbike, but you also like a little bit of green laming like you two, you've got to have two bikes, haven't you? If you
Fair
like,
enough.
if you like
Yes,
drinking
yes,
tea
yeah.
and looking at motorcycles like I do,
Yeah.
you've got to have a few in the shed, haven't you?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't drink the tea. Do you?
What about Skid? What would be your preferred model if you had to just take the one away and that was with
One
you
that I
forever?
already own.
I suppose so, or have already built, or yeah. What would
Don't
I
say
think
it.
I'd go for my Honda Bentley.
Oh, good lad.
And he's got about 13 Honda Bentleys. That's what he's not saying.
I've got two, and there's another one underway, and there's another pile of bits in the corner as well.
You make it sound like a pregnancy, right?
Well, it is. Well, they do have a 9-month gestation period.
And what about you, Alan? What is it of your monumental achievements? Which
Well,
one might that be?
I've got 15 bikes at home.
Yeah.
Can't have to be the one nearest the door, I guess, because you bring shoes. It's really, really hard. My little SS100 is really quaint and lovely. That's just a mental, but you're restricted where you can ride it. The flying Millyard 5-litre V-twin is really cool. The 7-1 Super 6, Vallicet V-twin. How do you choose?
I don't know. That one would probably sink a desert island. I think you'd have to.
Yeah, it was sinking.
I think you'd have something a bit lighter.
You absolutely cannot ride it on sand. It just doesn't happen.
What? And you know that flying Millyard thing? I looked at it going up Prescott. Blimey!
I took him on the backup press.
Oh God, I was on the back of that as well, for
Yeah.
God's sake. Yeah.
What on earth? That looks like something out of Genevieve, which must have been the first film I saw when I was a kid, which was about the London to Brighton run.
Are you sure it was Genevieve?
Yes.
Sure.
I call it my
It was either that or the Dam Busters. I can't remember which came first.
Probably the Dam Busters.
Okay, all right. But what inspired you to build it?
my Chitty Chitty Bang Bang bike.
Oh,
It was Steve Parrish actually. 'Cause I won into an award with my V-twin at Salon Pre-Bay, the SS100. And he said to me, what are you going to make next year? So I just said, I'll make the biggest V-twin. From the smallest to the biggest. I went
Yeah.
back and said next year with a Brian Millyard, I won the award with that as well.
And was there a particular event you had in mind then with that Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Just wanted a bit steampunk, brass, polished nickel, flat tanker, sit up high and back, and just be regal on whatever 4-speed and reverse gear.
And fire at every lamppost.
How many miles have you done on that, Alan?
Just under 10,000 miles.
Have you?
Been to the Isle of Man twice, took Steve Craig to run back a Derby circuit. Been down to Land's End, been to Guernsey, Isle of Man, all over the UK.
Wow.
That's done 9,800 miles.
Good Lord. So you do ride them.
So yeah, I ride them all the time.
Do you know, my dad once told me, my dad had a 500 Red Hunter that he had as a solo before. You know, that generation all had motorbikes. Every one of them went through riding motorbikes because, you know, cars were unaffordable when they were lads. And he had a 500 Red Hunter that he said fired at every lamppost, and he got pulled up by the cops for having a defective silencer, and the horn didn't work, so he had no audible means of approach, the copper said. Just think about that for a moment. Yeah, he felt like the law was against him at that moment in time. And that's the way that motorbikes, even then, were regarded, really.
I don't know whether it's got any better. Has it?
No.
I hope so, but I don't
You think?
think so. Do you know what I mean? But then again, you know, perhaps that's quite good.
Yes, I think it is. I love it as
you
the
imagine
biggest
if
underground
everybody-
movement there is.
Can you imagine if everyone rode a motorbike? That would be a nightmare, wouldn't it? I don't know, would it?
Probably quite fun with traffic lights.
Could be quite fun. I mean, Asia and stuff like that, when everyone's on mopeds, I'd love to do that. You know, and see what that's like. en masse.
Imagine all those people you see at motorway service stations being on motorbikes.
Yeah.
It beggars belief, doesn't it? It would be frightening.
Well, it would be, but at
They'd
the
probably
same
all
time,
have Honda Bentleys and stuff like that,
yeah,
wouldn't
they
they?
would. Yeah.
I think the great thing about it would be that every set of traffic lights would be like the start of a Grand Prix, wouldn't it?
That would be great. Yeah, that would be great. But you'd be on
Imagine
the
the red
Bentley,
light,
so
red
you'd
light.
be in trouble.
Imagine the lights, you know, on a main 3-lane wide A4 into London. Those lights would go green and they'd be like, hang on.
That'd be great. But you see, I think motorcycles shouldn't be taxed, for instance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, look, you know, we're trying to save the planet, aren't we? Well, I mean, you know, there's one way of doing it.
Hang on. Only one of my bikes are taxed.
What?
Only one of my bikes is
No,
taxed.
can I just say, I'm talking about new bikes. All right?
I'm talking about bikes in general. Most people here's bikes aren't taxed.
Yeah, okay, well, classic bikes, I don't think any of mine are.
Can I correct you? They're all taxed, it's just free if it's historic.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there should be some kind of something or other for us to be riding bikes.
I totally agree.
And I don't know whether it's no tax for a new bike, you know, you're tax-free, mate, or you should be congestion thingy free.
The problem with new bikes, everyone talks about how big their screen is. The fact you change it from green to pink when you're on the fly with your thumb wheel.
What did you just say?
It's all about screens these days. Everyone's got a bigger screen.
TFT screens.
My screen's 8 inches and mine's 7 inches. And
Is it?
someone's got a 5-inch one.
I just like a Speedo. I don't look at that
And
either.
then you can't come out because your red light's on, so the engine doesn't work. Like your Goldwing.
Can we look? The Goldwing.
Goldwing.
Yeah. Can I just say, I do have to tell you, I do own a new Goldwing. And that was really by mistake, I have to say. Honda said, could you ride the Goldwing? I went, you must be out of your head. I'm not riding one of those things. And then I got on a new one, and my producer had got me a tiny little route to go through country roads on a flipping Goldwing. Yeah. Anyway, this thing's amazing. And I've ended up owning one.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, you are. That's impressive.
You also like it because there's a cubby hole on the tank that you press a button and it slowly opens and he can keep his false teeth in there.
Or his stash.
Yeah, if you're going to go over 80, I'd take my bottom teeth out, just in case. I might hit someone riding behind like him.
I'm impressed that you have a thing called a producer on your programs because they look
Well,
very
in the
kind of
loosest term.
cherry built.
That is a loose term.
That is a loose term,
We
isn't
kind
it?
of make it up as we go along
Yeah,
and he
we
has
do.
to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
producer has to go, what, you've shot all that? But what, I've got to make a show of it? Yeah, you have. You know, so yeah.
I think Millyard does very well with his. Do you shoot all that stuff yourself? The stuff that you put on YouTube?
On my iPhone 11 Pro. And
Yeah.
edit it as well.
And edited as well.
On the phone.
Hence the hedgehogs. Don't you think it's a lovely touch that he has stuff that Chris Packham would be proud of as part of his programs, and that little insight into nature? I think that's pure magic, as well as the tea and that little clockwork fella bartender and the
Charlie Weaver. That's
yes, Charlie Weaver. Charlie Weaver.
Famous American comedian in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
Can we have a shout out for Tracy here, if that's the case?
Yes,
as well?
because the endless
He does
cups
the
of
best
tea.
cupcakes and tea
Yes.
in the world. I have to
Yes.
tell you.
Everyone wants the recipes. They're just standard cupcakes and they're nothing
They're
special.
not standard cup. What? You're used to them. They
Yeah.
blow my mind.
And we've never seen you on film eating one, and I haven't. Whereas
Well, no.
Alan regularly nicks one.
I know, because my wife will then go, why are you eating that on TV?
Oh, I see. Okay.
See what I
Okay.
mean?
It's always the women who
He's
have the
my
last
little
say.
friend.
Yeah.
It's bad, Jack.
So listen, you got I don't know what sort of substantial property you were brought up in.
God,
But
here
you've
we
got quite a substantial
Yeah.
plot of land with lots of sheds on it, haven't
Okay,
you? That
look.
looks very good.
Can I just say, I own some of that. Santander own most of it. Okay?
Okay.
Can I just say that? All right?
Yeah.
Just to put the record straight.
Yeah.
But, yes, I've got a little farm, right? But we've got 40 acres, but those acreages save us a lot of money. Only because we can do all kinds of stuff there. So if we get a tank for shed and buried, we can drive it. If we get a tractor for junk and disorderly, we can plough with it. You know what I mean? So I don't have to go and hire loads and loads of things, and also we don't have to go anywhere. So then that saves a huge amount of time.
Yeah.
And shed-wise, let me tell you, man, they're growing by the day. So we've got one shed for Channel 4, which will be another broadcaster, not Channel 4, to be announced for Find It, Fix It, Flog It.
Okay.
And then we've got one for ITV, for the motorbike show and junk. And then we got one for Shed and Buried, which is a blue one. Yeah. And then I've got another one being built at the moment, which will be for Shed and Buried, but I don't know how to say this. I'm going to say it. Okay, I'm going to say it out loud, and please forgive me. But we've got to do 8 one-hour Shed and Buried classic cars. I'm sorry, but the whole deal was Fuzz has got his motorbike